You're leaving millions of dollars on the table. And it's not because you're not working hard enough. It's because your retirement account is rigged. I'm talking about your 401k. It's not designed to make you rich. It's designed to keep you employed. But there's a back door that the wealthy already know about. It's called a self-directed IRA. And if you don't understand how these work, you're missing out on decades of freedom and millions of dollars. I'm Terrell Higgins, your real estate and personal finance guide. I was able to achieve millionaire status in my 30s from real estate and stock investing. And today, I want to shed some light on an investing strategy that many people have never even heard about. And in today's video, I'll be explaining what self-directing your retirement account actually means, what investments actually become unlocked by self-directing your retirement account, and we're going to be doing a real-life case study comparing a typical 401k account against a self-directed portfolio. And you'll see that the difference isn't just thousands of dollars, it's millions and millions of dollars. Let's get into it. Let me tell you a quick story. A family friend came to me with over $500,000 in his retirement account after 25 years in the same job. And he thought he did everything right, but when I looked under the hood, I realized he unknowingly missed out on millions of dollars of potential gains.
How? Hold on, bro. How?
Because like most Americans, he followed the default path. Company-sponsored funds, cookie-cutter portfolios, and target date funds that quietly shifted his money into underperforming bonds a full decade earlier than it should have been.
It can't be!
Get it? Or is your entire world just crashing down all around you?
All right, that's enough.
Yeah!
Most people don't even realize they have 4 options when they leave a job where they had a 401k. Let's run through them real quick. So the first one, which is the lazy one, is to just leave that 401k with that old company. And then the second one is to roll over that old 401k into your new company's 401k. You're going to have a lot of the same options as your old company, and it's going to be more of the same. The third option, and this is by far the worst option, and sadly, 41% of Americans choose this option, is cashing out your 401k and spending it. And when you do this, you're going to cut your money in half. You're going to get hit with a 10% early withdrawal penalty. You're going to pay taxes on the federal and potentially on the state and local level. This is by far the worst option. And the worst thing is that you are breaking the compounding cycle that makes retirement work in the first place. And then the final option, and this is what the truly wealthy people are doing, you roll over your 401k into a self-directed IRA. With a self-directed IRA, you unlock everything. Individual stocks, ETFs, real estate, private equity, crypto, even gold and oil holdings. You go from being the passenger to the pilot of your financial future. And I get it, to some people, this level of freedom can be intimidating, but I'm going to show you exactly what you're missing out on if you don't self-direct your IRA. So you remember that friend with the $500,000? We actually ran 3 different scenarios. So in the first scenario, it was the portfolio that he had. It was a 60-40 stock bond traditional retirement portfolio. And after 10 years, his $500,000 turned into $1.1 million. And in the second scenario, we rolled his money over into a simple S&P 500 index fund, and his money turned into $1.6 million. And the last scenario, we built a custom self-directed IRA portfolio. 40% was in gold. We used IAU, which was an iShares Gold Shares ETF. 30% was in QQQ, which is a NASDAQ 100 index ETF. 20% was in VOOG, which is a S&P 500 growth ETF. So it pulls out all the growth stocks from the S&P 500 and outperforms a standard S&P 500 index ETF. And then the last 10%, we kicked it up a notch with a very spicy pick, NVIDIA. And this portfolio made $3.3 million.
What?
My friend was completely blown away by these returns. But here's the kicker. I showed him what that portfolio would be if we swapped that NVIDIA out for Bitcoin. So if you swap that NVIDIA for GBTC, which is a Bitcoin ETF, those returns changed from 3.3 million to $6.1 million.
Damn!
That is not a typo. He had $6 million instead of $1 million. But here's the truth. You don't need to be some sort of Wall Street pro to beat the market. And having a self-directed IRA gives you the keys to the kingdom. One thing a lot of people don't realize is that the S&P 500 is the benchmark that all returns are measured against, but it is easy to select passive investments that consistently beat the S&P 500. So the S&P 500 Growth Index, so that VOOG, has been consistently beating just holding the S&P 500. And then if you buy into a Russell 1000 ETF, those have been consistently beating the S&P 500. And that QQQ ETF, that NASDAQ 100 ETF, that also has been consistently beating the S&P 500. So you could passively invest into these well-diversified index ETFs and consistently beat the market. And what's cool about all these other ETF alternatives is that the Sharpe and Sortino ratios for these alternative portfolios are actually better than just holding a standard S&P 500 index fund. So you are getting better returns for the risk you are taking, and that is the holy grail of portfolio composition. So whether you're conservative and you just want to buy smarter ETFs in your retirement account, or you want to place one of those asymmetric bets that can 5 or 6x your returns across the next couple decades, getting a self-directed IRA can completely change the game. So the next time you are leaving your job, you should seriously consider moving your 401k into a self-directed IRA, especially if you're considering retiring early or creating generational wealth for your family. A self-directed IRA is by far the best option. And if you're still a little fuzzy about how a 60-40 portfolio could actually be holding you back, I actually did an entire video showing why the 60-40 portfolio is outdated and underperforming. Thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you next time.